Okay, so 50th cut. I keep, like, messing up. Okay, so the reason for why I know reading recommendations plus more video, I do the library haul too. Like there was even been views and there's even been views on these videos recently, of the reading recommendations plus more videos, anyways. But the reason for why that is because they didn't come in today, technically. So what happened is that 2 o'clock it went from 12, it went from 14 to 16. And I was like, okay, so the books are in, maybe it's just 2, because it was 2 at 2, and usually they don't come in that early. So usually when they come in that early, if they even do, it's because there's only like 2 books coming in. So I thought, okay, just 2 books, I'll wait till Thursday anyways, because they have a book coming in from Amazon on Thursday, so it'll be a 2 for 1 deal type thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll wait till Thursday. Then 2 hours later, because I kept checking just for shits and giggles, because sometimes they do update, it just takes them a lot longer, and it takes them a lot longer. It just takes a little bit, because, I think it's the computers, because the usual lady that does the ILLs, like the interlibrary loans, which is the only thing I get from that library anymore, pretty much, except for a couple movies and maybe another book, is... usually what she does is she does them all at once, and I think it's just the computers running behind, trying to catch up with what she's doing. So it'll take about a half an hour for everything to update, and then get the checkout receipt in my emails. None of that happened. I didn't get an email, and then 2 hours later, it finally shows up, and it's 19. And I still didn't get any checkout receipts since 8 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock right now, right? No, well, pretty much 9 o'clock. Almost 9 o'clock right now, so I'm like, you know what? They're closing in 15 minutes. They're not going to update. I'm going to check my emails, like, one more time. But they're not going to update or anything like that. Sometimes I don't get, like, there was one other time, Oh, Universal Pictures. I got 2 emails from Universal Pictures in one night. One at 6:49 and one at 8:26. You gotta stop with the shit. This is a stupid... Yeah, I really wanted to get the Boss Baby exclusive gift set. Thank you, Universal. What Universal does, they just show you a bunch of emails. I'm gonna unsubscribe from them and Warner Brothers. I don't care about them anymore. I don't, because the one from Peacock, that's a streaming service I own. That's a streaming service I have, because it's free. And you get like a lot of free stuff on it. You test it through ads. It's not too bad. I actually kind of recommend it. But anyways, besides that, the only emails I actually pay attention to are YouTube and library. So I'm starting to slowly unsubscribe from everywhere else. But anyways, so I got no checkout receipt from them. I did have it one time before, but I got no checkout receipt, and yet all the books are in. I'm like, the hell with it. I'm gonna wait till Thursday. Kind of have to at this point. When it was in at 8 o'clock, I was like, the hell with it. So you'll be getting that video on Thursday, along with the Amazon unboxing video, and that'll be that. But tonight, or rather for Wednesday, because I want it to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday video, all three in a row. I'll be reviewing this Flash book, the Flash 750. Was there anything else I had to mention? Was there? No, because I went over the schedule. So one more time, the schedule is Wednesday is this video, right here, this video. Thursday, it'll hopefully be something that I was going to say, but I lost my train of thought. Oh, the Amazon unboxing and the reading recommendations / library haul video, two in one day. And then Friday, I'll hopefully be going to Newberry for comic haul for Friday, catching up with my weekly books I missed out on last week, and then getting ones for this week. So that'll be that. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's include this Flash book. This is what I like to call, and I like to call it because it's also an alliteration, an anniversary anthology, and that's when Flash and Batman and all these series get their like anniversary issues, and so they get creators new and old to come back and write Flash, or just the modern writer of Flash will come back, will come and write his story. I said it so awkwardly. How did I say it last time? Last time I said it perfectly. But Flash writers, new and old, will come and write a Flash book story. That's how I said it. Okay, so the first one was by Joshua Williamson. There's actually 2 by Joshua Williamson. And the second story solidified that I had way too high expectations for that first story. Because that first story was very, very slow for me. And I think I just had too high expectations. Because everyone is like, you've got to read Joshua Williamson's Flash. It's such a good book. And they give like a 10 out of 10. I think one of the YouTube reviewers actually did give it a 5 out of 5. And it's like an A+ book, and I was like, wow, must be a damn good run. And it would not have been the best place to start, but all the other stories, they didn't. None of these stories, only one of the stories required you to read Flash stories beforehand. And even then, I wasn't too terribly confused, and actually did end up being one of my favorites. But the Joshua Williamson one I thought was pretty slow. The first one, it's the Flash Age Part 1. But what I did enjoy was the fact that the story itself was pretty interesting, at least. It was slow, but interesting. And what I liked about it was that it's one of those stories where a bunch of civilians talk about the superhero, and I talk about Flash. And one of the stories I did find investing because of the fact that it's different. It's not totally different, but I like when they do something that is more grounded than your average story will do. In this one, the guy is like almost homeless. I think he was. He was homeless, and he was gonna rob a bank so he could pay rent and actually make a living for himself and not live on the streets. And so he was gonna rob a bank. And then Flash stops him and he runs him. I don't think it was to the police station. He runs him somewhere else, and the guy gets a job at that place that Flash drops him off at. And then because of that whole situation, he turned his life around. He didn't need to rob a bank anymore to make money. He was making money at the job he was currently working at, and just totally turns his life around. That I appreciated. I like when comics do something like that. And then, but other than that, it was just really slow. And I felt like instead of 30 pages, instead of taking up 30 pages, it could have taken up like 15 to 20. Not even 20, like 10 to 15. 30 was way too much. It's almost half this 80-page book. And the next one was by Geoff Johns. I really liked that one. I'll open it like this. The other one by Geoff Johns is really damn good. I really want to pick up the omnibuses, but I have way too much to pick up anyways, so that's gonna have to be later on. But that was the sole reason. I have read the first few issues of his run. It's very slow. I hear once it gets going, and this is the pace that it goes at. I'm like, let's go. And then Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. That was the best story of all of them. It was the New 52 run. I loved. That's my favorite Flash run so far. Is their New 52 run. I haven't read a whole lot of Flash to justify a ranking video, so. But that's how good it was. That's how good it was. That's how good it was. Is that I still consider it to be my favorite Flash story. I mean, you know that feeling you get where you never read anything that good. That's the feeling I have for that New 52 run. That's what I was trying to say. And then Marv Wolfman comes back for a Flash story, and that was surprisingly good. Sometimes when these guys come back, they lost their steam completely, and Marv Wolfman is better than ever, with his storylines, or just as good, I should say. Then Josh Williamson is a second story, like I mentioned before, but this one was much better paced because it was only 7 pages instead of 30. And the flash forward epilogue I actually like because it didn't require you to. I was kind of confused, but it wasn't like I'm scratching the outside of my nose. But it wasn't like you had to. It wasn't like you had to read these issues. No, it was just kind of like. It was confusing. It would be confusing to some people, as I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it in a way that makes sense, but it wasn't totally lost, and it ended up being my one of the better ones. I kind of want to pick up that storyline now and see how it ends, how it starts and then ends. It should be continued type thing. I'm trying to read what this says right here. I think this is a 2000s variant. They had a bunch of variants for Flash. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this was the one that I got in the grab bag for $7.99. So it's already worth the $7.99 cover price because I got that plus a bunch of other comics. So I'll go through them again and give like a number score and then the final score, and then it'll be done. Okay, so the Joshua Williamson one I'm gonna call Flash Age is what it's called. I give like a 7 out of 10. Beer Run by Jeff Johns, I give an 8 out of 10. YU by Francis Manipul, I give a 9 out of 10. Almost 9.5. Flash of All Worlds by Marv Wolfman, I give a 8 out of 10. At the Starting Line, the second Joshua Williamson one, I give it a 7.5. And Scott Lobdell one, Flash Forward Epilogue. You see, it's an epilogue. But also it's also tying into another event type book. I would give a 8 out of 10. And all around, I give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's an enjoyable read. It only took me an hour to read. This is 80 pages. It took me the same amount of time to read as a Silver Age book does. And that's because Silver Age books fill the page with a bunch of dialogue. That's how Silver Age was back then. But all the Silver Age authors, I think pretty much all of them, that continued past the Silver Age got it showed that it was the time period, not the authors themselves. They went on to write much better stories that were much better paced. Like Silver Age, like I like a lot of the Marvel books. Like Fantastic Four is especially good. Spider-Man's really good. X-Men is surprisingly good. You know, there's a lot of good Silver Age books, but it's just that dialogue, the 4,000 war balloons per page, really, per panel, let's be honest, really bring it back. Really, you know. But I mean, I'll still read them, obviously. It's just that, and I know it's gonna take me an hour to read that for one 23-page book. And then this 80-page book takes me the same amount of time. It's 80 pages. So it was very fast paced. Even the slower book. So yeah, that's it. 12 minutes. Huh, not 12 minutes. I don't know why. I should have ended when I checked the time. So like I mentioned before, I cannot see for shit. So I have to go this close to see how long we're going for. Because it's like right at the top, and it's like I don't know why they can't just put it the entire top bar. It's like a widescreen bar. The top bar, they say you're 12 minutes. And they have to put it like small. For me, at least. That's it.